Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Dating Over 50. Thank you for being here. My name is D Love, and on this channel, we're going to discuss what is it like dating over 50. We all want love, need love, been in love, but how do we get that long-lasting, loving relationship? So I decided to create a channel where men and women can come on and we just share our views and opinions. How do we navigate this now that we are over 50? My first guest is Drob, good friend of mine. He is 58. He has never been married. He's currently single, and he has no children. So let's get into our conversation with Drob. Drob, let's go right into our first question for the day. Are men over 50 looking for relationships?
We're looking for relationships in our fifties and stuff like that, but we're just not looking to rush into it yesterday, like ASAP. We are in our fifties, and ladies say to us, "Well, you should be wanting to do it right away because time is fleeting," and that is true. But we men are on different timetables than ladies, right? We just don't like rushing into things. But I understand too on the other side where the woman that doesn't want to wait too long, where she's wasting her life too. But we're just not looking to rush into it like yesterday, like ASAP. We know we are in our fifties, and ladies say to us, "Well, you should be wanting to do it right away because time is fleeting." So it's a balance. But we do want relationships, but not at warp speed.
Okay, so you're right. I believe most women think that because we're at this age that we should be more decisive in what we're looking for, meaning we've been through relationships. Some of us have been through marriages before. So we kind of know, or we think we know, let me put it that way, what we're looking for. So women, I think, have the impression that the man it shouldn't take the man, months and months to decide whether or not you're the one he wants because he should have an idea of the woman he's looking for. So you're saying that, correct?
I would say you're correct on a woman's part, but you also got to ask yourself too. And, decisions sometimes are hard to make in life, right? Because now you're asking me to make a decision for the rest of my life with one person and stuff. And I know in my case, I don't want to get it wrong, right? So I want to be a little bit more cautious and slow in making my decision than a woman is. Maybe a woman knows what she wants, but do we ever look at the woman who makes those quick decisions and how they turn out for her? We don't know, do we?
No, you're right, D Rob. I know for me, D Love here, it's been, you think you were making a good decision, but find out later down the line that maybe it wasn't. But I think too at this age, that decision to be in a relationship, women more can find a way to make it work once they're in it. And I don't think men think that way.
Well, D-Love, what it sounds like to me you saying is that the woman is settling on her decision, and when she gets into that relationship, once she makes that decision, she's she's gonna try to make herself love that person. And I know for me, it's like a puzzle, right? Sounds like the woman is trying to put a circle into a square, and to me, that's not going to work. 'Cause for me, I need to know I love that person before we make that big decision. Because I just feel like if you don't love the person before you make the decision, I don't know. Maybe you can love the person once you get into that relationship.
And I'm sorry, I probably misspoke. I believe what I'm saying is that yes, we are in love. We are in love with the man that we're wanting to have this relationship. But I think what I'm more saying is that once you get the relationship, sometimes then you see some things that you didn't know. And I guess that's what I'm saying. So we're okay. And maybe we do as women rush in. Maybe that is a good point, D Rob. Maybe we do rush into relationships and should give it more time and consideration. Stop worrying about, the clock and whether or not, as we're getting older, we need to find that person now so that we can have the time to spend with them. So that's the point that I'll have to think about.
Okay, D left. Yes, we as far as there's no right and wrong, right, D-Love, it's just that, what's best for each person and stuff, in terms of should we make that commit to that decision. And I just want to reiterate, maybe we guys just take a little longer to make a decision, which make you guys uncomfortable and upset at us, and sometimes cause you guys to break up with us because we're not on that same page as you. And it seems like sometimes it's hard to get two people on the same page at the same time, because it just seems like if I'm on the page, you may be off the page. And when you get on the page, I'm off the page. And which has caused a lot of conflict in our relationship. And sometimes which cause people to break up before we can even take it to the next level.
Then how do you think we resolve that? How do we get closer, if not on the same page? Is it that do we need to communicate more about it? Because I know that may not come across to a man correctly. So how do you think we do that? How do you let us know you're still reading the book? I think that's sometimes what women feel, that you're not even reading the book anymore, let alone us being on the same page in the same book.
Right. And I agree with you, D-Love. And it happens all the time. I think it's communication, right? Like we're just saying, one thing about relationship communication is key. You got to express yourself to each other on which I want to try to get on the same page. But the most important thing, factor is I can express myself to you all day. You can express yourself to me all day when we communicate, right? But there's one thing in this communication process that we're not doing. We are not actively listening to each other once. And so I think that's one of the reasons why we don't get on the same page. Because you may want to tell me, hey, why we not getting married? I might say, hey, let's take it slow. Let's slow it down. But but you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're just listening to what you want, and I'm listening to what I want, and not listening probably to what you want. So we're probably not actively listening to each other and I want. I think if we was able to do that, we probably could come to a middle to be on the same page to some degree. But because that's not happening, that's why we have that conflict.
Okay, so how do we make that happen? Because I think a lot of people at this age are throwing away good relationships because of the lack of communication, because of our prior experience as well, because before we've said, oh, I've seen this sign, I've seen this hesitation, I've seen, this happen, and I know what the outcome is. And so now I'm not going to listen because I already see the signal before I get to the light. So I'm not willing to keep driving. So I'm trying to see how we really do that without us feeling as though we're compromising because, the man says he wants to wait and the woman is saying, no, she wants to do it now. How do we actively listen? How do I shake you up and say, hey, listen to me, hear what I'm saying? I'm not asking to be out. I'm just asking for more time before I get in.
You know what, D-Love? You made some great, interesting points. And one I'm beginning to learn just from what you just said just now is, and to me, it seems like because you bring your past relationships to your current relationship, because you say, oh, okay, this happened in the past, so this guy right here, he might be playing me the same way. And that could be true, but it may not be, right? So I think guys doesn't bring their past relationships and say, hey, and judge the next person the same way. But I feel like ladies tend to do that more. And I also think that's one of the reasons why the relationship breaks up or not be on the same page, because you keep bringing their past relationship up to affect the present relationship. And she may be right, who knows? But, to me, it's like stocks, you got to take risks. And so is the lady bailing out because she sees the signs on the wall from the previous relationship, and she's not willing to take the risk, and maybe this guy could be different. He might have some of the same characteristics, but he could be different. But we don't know because she bails out kind of early.
And I think I've heard the criticism of men, to your point of past, is that I think the woman, she is more cautious about the signals she has seen in the current relationship that she's had seen in her past. And I think men, I don't know, do you guys take the time to actually reflect on your previous relationships? And the key words out here now is healing from your past. I mean, or are you guys just jumping from one woman to the next without realizing or looking at the role, you played in the last relationship, of its failure, why it didn't work? Or do you guys just keep rolling from one relationship to the next relationship, bringing all of your same characteristics to, the new relationship?
Well, D Love, I can't speak for every guy, but I think, in your over the 50s, I think you tend not to go from one relationship quickly to the next relationship. You do some reflection, at least I do, in the sense of what did I do wrong? Did I give her the wrong signs too quickly, where I made her think that she wants to, go ahead and marry me? And was it, I had to look at myself too, in which I do. And, like I just had a relationship a year ago, and I think one of my mistakes was I threw it out there too quickly that, I want to get into a serious relationship, which I did, but I didn't want to step into marriage right away. And so I did reflect on that, and I said, next time maybe I got to take it a little bit slow, and because it seems like it causes a lot of conflict when you take it too fast, and then you put on the brakes, and the woman just gets, she's just not happy with you, right? Because she thought you wanted what she wanted, and then when you change it on her, she just gets pissed off at you.
I think to that point, I agree with you. I think that is what happens. It's like we're going along, you're telling me what you want, we want the same thing, and then all of a sudden, when you do slow it down, I think my then reaction is that, okay, what have I done? Why does he not desire to move forward? What is going on? Did I do something that he then made him see, oh, maybe she's not the one? And I think that's where women then start to, panic inside, shut down, or try and overcompensate. And you're right, we get scared because it's like, okay, you said you wanted the serious relationship, but now you're, pushing back, and I don't see you on the as often as I used to. So again, I'm going back to previous relationships, and that's a signal of, oh, I'm not the one. He's seen the fact that I put my left shoe on before my right, and he doesn't like that. What do I do? So back to our original point, that communication is important, but I sometimes we over talk about things. Because again, like you said, we just talk sometimes and not listen. When we start harping on, where are we, where are we going, I think men kind of tune out to that. And so then women are then left not having their voice to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, D Love, great point. And while you was just talking about that, I was just thinking, and smiling to myself is, you're right. I think I started the preface by saying communicating, right? And I think we are honest to some degree, but then again, we're not, right? We guys, where we do find out something that we probably didn't like in the relationship, which causes us to put on the brakes. But for some reason, we don't communicate that. We just kind of keep it to ourselves, and maybe, from our side, we should, express what we didn't like, But for some reason, we don't express it. We just hope it change, and it seems like it doesn't change. We just keep, putting the foot on the brake, hoping it would change instead of maybe communicating that. Why I put on the brakes? Maybe it's because, well, she's not dressing as sexy as she used to be, or maybe she's taking me for granted. Maybe she's putting a little weight or something, and maybe that's what's causing us to put back and something like that. Or maybe her finances is just outrageous and stuff. She's not good, and do I want to get myself into that? Maybe I'm hoping that she would change on that type of stuff, and maybe I should communicate that better, and I don't. And maybe those are the things we guys don't do well. When we see things happening that we don't like, we probably don't communicate that.
And when I'm listening to you and I hear that when you said that, it's like I see it happening. And that's the thing. It's like, and it's on both sides, meaning women see things in the man that they fell in love with that they go, ooh, I didn't know that. But either they may say something about it or, they'll let it go. But I agree with you. I think the key is we have to stop thinking that the other person can read our mind and that the other person likes everything about us. Okay. So we need to realize that we have brought in 50 plus years of who we are to this relationship. And, the question always become, excuse me, can you teach the old dog a new trick? Well, you don't necessarily have to teach him a new trick, but you at least have to let him know what tricks you like. And I think that's what we do. We don't communicate that, I really like this about you. I don't like that so much. And I don't know why we're afraid to do that, because at the end, we're either going to get to it ending or it being a great relationship. So why not put in the work and have the hard conversations so that it can end up being a great relationship versus not talking about it, not expressing our feelings, and then ending up with no relationship.
Uh, Good point again, D Love. Again, I'm chuckling on that because everything you're saying is so true. Why? Oh, that's a good question. Uh,
I mean,
that's a
because
million
if
dollar
you're going to
question.
walk away anyway, at least walk away knowing that you have expressed your needs. And now that you've expressed them and then they're not met, at least now you can say, I'm walking away because I said I wanted A. She couldn't give me A, so therefore I'm gone, versus I want A, never told her I wanted A. She didn't know to give me A, so therefore I'm gone. So I'm hoping that at the age, and, again, I think that's what we're all thinking too, that because we're older, we're supposed to be more mature, we're supposed to have this. And I don't necessarily believe that's truly the answer, that we all have it together. But I think we need to really understand how important it is to talk about it. Wow, D-Rob, thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing with me and answering my questions honestly and just giving of yourself. I greatly appreciate that. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. As you can tell, this conversation continues, so the next episode will be up shortly, and we'll get to hear the continuation of my conversation with D-Rob. You won't be disappointed. It was quite interesting. Look forward to you guys coming back. Please leave any comments below. Again, just wishing you peace and D-Love.